Get this on the Triple M network.
I'm not sure that we're going out today in Brisbane or Adelaide because the show is going to be interrupted at some point by a horse race. I think people are probably aware of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just going to keep nattering on until it happens.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Who are we? Well, it's myself, Tony Martin.
Lovely.
We've got Ed Cavalier. And, of course, pushing the buttons, Richard Marsland.
Oh, duck.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. Oh, man, they're all up in my ankles. Get out of here, ducks.
Hang on.
No bread for you. Stop trying to goose me. My Achilles. Hey, off the Achilles, you lot. Get out of here, ducks.
Just let him finish.
This isn't a pond.
Let him do what they do.
We'll wait, ducks.
All right, it's
All right,
over.
it's fine. Get out of here,
We
ducks.
couldn't interrupt that because...
People want ducks.
That's right, Silo. They certainly do.
Well, you go on and on about the rugged good looks of the Navara tone.
Yeah.
But here's how you're being described on television.
The proud owner of the world's best bottom.
Lovely.
Me?
Lovely.
What are you talking? I don't think I actually have a bottom.
Yeah, you do. It's small, but it's there. Like a couple of grapes. A couple of tender grapes that have been out on the bench for a day. Hey? Just a little bit of give in them.
Yes.
So, Rich.
Yes, I like it when you come into work in the morning and Ed's sort of hovering around YouTube, typing in various phrases.
Yeah, trying to find a clip.
So, anyway, Rich, you won't let us go to your house. Unbelievable.
No.
Now he's started throwing parties, Tone.
Has he? Really?
Well, we know that. No, he's opened a resort, and we'll probably leave that there.
Okay,
Back to his house. How does Richard Marsland live? The hot topics on Get This. Mm-hmm. He's got a friend over from America, from the United States.
Really?
Here's what happened at Richard's house last night.
He's laying on a slab, and I come in with weapon drawn, and, he's not supposed to be, God, how much can I reveal? Anyway, he cuffs me, and I am looking around this room just horrified, and he goes, bonk, right in the you know what.
And that's on a school night, too. How does it go on the weekends?
Up on the slab, Rich.
Thank goodness I've got the lotion everywhere to help out with the cupping.
Mates are coming out, weapon drawn.
Gwen Stefani.
One of your favourites of Gwen's, Tone?
Yeah, look, it's certainly in the top 15.
How do you feel about Hollaback Girl?
I've always said that the person who should be taking advantage of Hollaback Girl is the author Michael Hollaback. You think, surely he could get some Hollaback girls together?
Have you seen what Vanessa Amorosi's doing?
Like,
What, in the next studio?
Yeah, look, check it out.
is it fruit or?
She's releasing her new album on a USB mass storage device.
Yeah.
That's the way they're stocking it through Sanity.
Right, okay.
And it's a 128 megabyte stick and includes the audio and video of her recent single.
Mm-hmm.
How's that working in the future? You know what I mean? Like best contemporary USB mass storage device.
I think so.
Doesn't necessarily have the same ring.
You have to give away the stickies
I mean,
as an award.
It's very forward thinking and very progressive, but
When I start releasing music, it's going to be brain implants. You show up at the record store, they take the top off, plop it in, away you go, flowers drifting by.
Why not just the musical suppository? Why not just the iPository? Pop that up there. We're all distracted because Vanessa Amorosi is not in the next studio.
Alma Rosie.
Almorosi, that's right. That's what I call her.
No, it's not.
She's having a nuclear meltdown. Who is that
I
next
think
door?
it's the Rogue Traders, but it could be the Veronicas.
Right.
They look very similar. The Veronicas don't look like the Veronicas when they're not on telly, Rich.
Really?
They look like Hall & Oates when they're just walking the street.
Yesterday, of course, was the day of the Save Get This rallies. I think they were happening in Melbourne. They were happening in Sydney, they were happening in Brisbane, and of course in...
Bolivia, is it? Bolivia.
Yeah, I don't know why.
In La Paz.
I don't know why the Bolivian
It's silly for it in La Paz.
audiences were getting on board, and it made for a fantastic show, and thanks to everyone who turned up.
Fantastic.
amazing.
All references to the rally were cut out of our show in Adelaide for some reason.
No South Australian should feel in any way excluded.
Yeah.
It's just that we're dealing with the eastern seaboard
We are indeed.
Thank you, John.
today.
Okay.
Thank you. But they won't be hearing this because, thanks to the Melbourne Cup, they're not taking the show
there we
today either.
Adelaide's not hearing it today.
But I was going, why
How
they...
crap's that new tram line? I mean, finally we get to say it. Who's kidding who, Adelaide?
Veal Gardens, Schmeal Gardens.
Oh, look at this. We've got another 500 metres of tram line. Another 500 metres to still go nowhere. This goes to the airport. That's right, I said it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was asking why was it cut out, and someone said, "Oh, we don't want to ferment anti-Triple M feeling." I'm going, it's pro.
It's not anti-Triple M.
These are Triple M listeners who showed up off their own bat with no prizes.
No, we mentioned it once, just the once.
In their own costumes to support a show that's on Triple M. That sounds pretty damn Triple M pro to me. I don't know. Anyway, hello to anyone who might be listening on the podcast. I'm assuming you can still get that in South Australia.
That's out there.
Good on you.
But what a day. We were broadcasting from Melbourne yesterday, and Greg Fleet showed up at the Melbourne studios. And we've got a recording here.
We didn't know he was coming.
No.
We should say that.
As soon as he appeared, people started bailing him up with his own jumper pants jingle.
I only realised about 3 weeks ago that turn your smile into a frown, turn your jumper upside down actually makes no sense. Like, it actually is the reverse of jumper pants. You turn your smile into a frown. Why? I never realised it didn't make sense, but thanks for going along with the vibe.
There you go. Hey, have you got some more of that applause?
Yeah.
What about a round of applause for Nikki Hamilton, our producer,
Hey, Nikki.
and Cecilia on the phones for the
Morning, Steph.
massive amount of organisation they did yesterday. And keep it going for Andrea in the technical department who had everybody mic'd up.
Here's the thing, Tone. The rally might have finished around 4 o'clock when the show finished.
Yeah.
And we hung around and, signed boobies for a while and did
Sure.
stuff like that, kissed some babies, pressed the flesh.
Yeah.
But I do know that the rally kicked on. I know that Dicko was around for a while from Australian Idol.
Really?
Was he really?
Yeah, him and Richard went out that night, and this is what he had to say about it.
I suppose it was too much to ask for a scat-free evening, so there you go.
There you have it.
Scat-free evening is never promised.
That's exciting scenes from Melbourne, but in Sydney, what was going on? Richard Marsland.
This is wonderful. A beautiful blog from Pip, who got along to the Sydney rally.
Yeah, and I have to
Fantastic.
say, the internet is covered in hilarious blogs and photographs from the event.
Outstanding. Just outstanding. This morning, she's written in her blog here, I'm just reading selected highlights. This morning I set my alarm nice and early so I could get up to watch sunrise. After about an hour or so of insanely overly cheerful and inane banter, my persistence was rewarded. In the window I saw the signs of my fellow Get This fans. There's never been a better time to save Get This. Short bus forever, and I'm Richard. Big congrats to Lyndall and Dave for braving the cold, rain and security to get the signs on.
Yeah.
So then 12 p.m. was approaching, and it was time for me to start making my way to Triple M Studios at World Square. I boarded a train with sign in hand and cape in bag, wearing my white and nerdy hoodie and listening to the latest Get This podcast to get me in the mood. I've never felt so nerdy in my life, and I loved it. I arrived at World Square at about 1 p.m, half an hour early, and began to suss out the surrounds, by which I mean doing laps of the block looking for other fans or protesters.
Oh, no. Wow.
The guy handing out leaflets on George Street kept giving me strange looks as I passed him. Eventually, I noticed a man walk past in what was clearly a Capril t-shirt with a poster in his hand. The moment I had been waiting for had arrived. He looked up as I approached, and we acknowledged each other with a nod and a thumbs up. There was no need to say any more. Soon we had a sizable crowd of about 9 people. It was time we entered the building and decided to go up to level 14 and hang out there at the Triple M studios. We got up there and sat down quietly with our signs and our radio listening to the show. Within a couple of minutes, security was there telling us to move on. We left, cursing the thugs in the security industry. But we weren't going to be swayed that easily. Instead, we took our stuff and headed out to the courtyard outside where we could be clearly seen from the Triple M building. Picture this if you can. 6 people. We had lost some by this stage. 2 in capes, 1 wearing jumper pants, all with signs, standing around a radio in a deserted courtyard while a gale was blowing, capes billowing nicely.
Yes.
The main reaction was bemused stares from people in the building, although we did cop the finger from one guy and some bared asses from some paintball reps. There were also some people who came to offer support and encouragement and a lot of thumbs up.
Fantastic.
What is it about capes that the paintball reps are finding so offensive?
I don't know.
And those mystified and bemused stares around the corridors. Hey, we're used to that ourselves.
I like the people on Sunrise are holding up short bus forever signs, as if it's in danger of going out of fashion.
Yeah, that was one of the hosts too, which I found odd. Have we ever had any news from Serbia on this show before?
Not a
Shout out to my homeboy Ali Jurella from high school, who's from Serbia. Fan of throwing bricks.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Well, I don't think this is offensive. Listen, a life-size marble statue of former Page 3 girl Samantha Fox is to be erected in Serbia after she agreed to sing at a pop festival. It's that simple,
that's
apparently.
nice.
Locals in such and such raised the money to show the 1980s model.
Hang on, where's such and such?
I'm not
Now, have a go. Have a go.
It's Cacak. I can't pronounce that.
That's a kakaka.
Really, that's not offensive at all?
That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Locals in the town of Ballsack raised the money to show the 1980s model-turned-pop star how delighted they were with her visit. Fan Obrad Banovic said, "We love her. She is authentic sex symbol of 1980s, so why shouldn't we have monument to her? Other towns have their heroes in parks. Why can't we?"
So true.
It also comes after the northern Serbian village of something or other.
Nah, come on. Give it a go.
Zetiste, would that be it?
How many Zs?
There's people pulling up out the front of the station. More Zs than would seem necessary is the answer. This town decided to put up a statue of Hollywood film character Rocky. A statue of Rocky.
Outstanding.
We only ever hear the bad stories out of Serbia. The violence, the carnage, the endless emails promising great amounts of money for you to invest immediately, yes. We don't see the good stuff. The footage of war-torn villagers emerging from their houses to see the unveiling of the Rocky statue. The ticker tape parades for the monument to Dom DeLuise in Cannonball Run. The national holiday, an hour of silence to celebrate the memory of Don Knotts and the ghost of Mr. Chicken.
Hey, I'm behind that one.
The statue of Screech. The parade for Lamal, the portrait in sign writing of Andrew Ridgely, and the Mount Rushmore-style carvings of the cast of Eight is Enough.
It's about time.
Why don't we see them on CNN? Thanks to a recent promotional visit, the national anthem of Serbia is now the theme to Laverne and Shirley.
That's good news.
I'm not joking.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel.
But no more Schloberdam! Republic of Serbia.
Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Republic of Serbia.
Nothing's gonna turn us back now. Straight ahead and on the track now. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
On the Balkan Peninsula.
There is nothing we won't try. Never heard the word
Milosevic.
this time. There's no stopping us.
Watch out, Macedonia.
On your mark, get set and go now. Got a dream and we just know now. We're gonna make that dream come true.
And we'll do it our way, not Croatia's way. Make all our dreams come true, and we'll do it Serbia's way, not Bosnia's way. Make all our dreams
Come true.
for me and you, and Serbians too. See, that's beautiful, isn't it?
That might be the first national anthem in the top 10.
And if any other bordering nations are offended, just write in and we'll record an anthem for you as well. I wouldn't want anyone to feel left out. There are plenty of other TV theme tunes going begging. So much love coming in the form of emails, especially for Richard Marsland's mother.
Oh, yeah.
Joel White, New South Wales, said, "Guys, I'm just wondering if you'd be able to get Mrs. Marsland back on to co-host because she has a rather sexy voice."
Okay. Yeah, she was putting on her phone voice.
Am I right in saying that in 2 breaks, Ed Cavalier has cracked on to my sister and now your mum?
No,
Yeah, come
I
on.
said I was going to crack onto the other 3 in your sister's string quartet and leave your sister uncracked onto.
This is like the funniest home videos thing. You've told them now. They'll know. They'll be ready for you with their mates.
Yeah, that's good. Then they'll be like, "What's up, yo?" And they'll be like, "We know what's going on.
You knew what you were getting into,
We know
ladies.
why we're here. Let's put these instruments down."
Oh, look, so many great emails. Hamildo Hilario wants us to record an
Mildo?
album. We were thinking of doing an album, but we need like a month, off
No,
to do
I'm
it
not doing.
properly.
No. Tone. After this is finished, like after Get This is finished, right?
Yeah.
We may end up. So who knows what we might end up doing? We want to keep working together, right?
That's right.
But I can tell you one thing: if we ever release another album, it's going to be songs, and they're going to be dead serious. This I promise to you, listeners. I got a lot of stuff in me. I got to get out.
Yeah, well, this bloke here, Hamildo, reckons that we should do a live album in the style of The Last Waltz called The Wide Stance. I quite like that.
Great.
Live from the Veal Gardens. Beautiful.
Standing.
Joe Wallen is insisting that the actual version of John English's All Together Now theme be heard on this program
No.
before we sign off. Gregory Toohey is recommending Ghost World as an emergency video recommendation at the video shop. I do like the Ghost World.
It's a good film.
I like a bit of You and Me and Everyone We Know. That's
Really?
a beauty.
Oh, I've not seen that. I had so many people put me off that.
Why?
Yeah, they didn't like it. Okay.
Come on.
Point, counterpoint.
All right,
Archie chick flicks in the spotlights. Miranda July versus Terry Zwigoff. That'd be a great crowd-pleasing smackdown on Triple M.
Okie doke. How about this? Sorry, Rich, were you about to do a
No, I was
pun?
just going to say Ghost World's great for the Steve Buscemi in a girdle.
That's true.
It's a good scene.
Katie Lovell's emailed in. Let's get us away from that. It says, Misha Barton is starring in a new movie called Finding Tattoo. Seriously, it's about two girls who go to a...
This is the film that Lockie Hume auditioned for. He told us about it on the show.
Well, here it is. It's happening now. Two girls go to a tattoo concert, discover they are lesbians, then take drugs, and I think one of them dies. Hopefully Misha, says Katie Lovell, 20.
I think Hume turned him down.
Did he?
Remember there was
Which of the two girls was Lockie going to play?
He was like some assassin or something.
The older gruff girl.
Remember he claimed it was a Roland Joffe movie?
That's
the guy
right.
The Killing Fields are going, he's doing the tattoo film now?
Can I say I reckon it's going to be a great film? They were amazing songs.
They certainly were.
Not going to get us.
Oh,
Good track.
no more high-pitched song ever than Not Gonna Get Us.
Yeah.
What about our wonderful callers? Do we love our callers on this
Ever.
program?
Do we ever?
We had Brian Nankervis in on Friday's show.
Wonderful, man.
This is one of my favourite ever callers here. Get this. Let's let the listeners get on board this.
Hi, Philip.
Hello.
There you go.
Good on you, Phil. How you feeling?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here we go. What is the ARIA Award-winning Gautier? What is his real name?
Aria a winning good year.
No. The guy who won an ARIA the other night, Gautier, what
Yeah.
is his real name?
The guy that won the Aria the other night was his real name.
Yes.
Was it Silverchair?
I'm going to accept that.
That is gold. That is the man who should be taking over this shift, I reckon.
He's going to pop up in Police 10-7.
I love how Brian knew to ask him if he was okay. Okay, but Phil, you all right? Yeah.
I'll confirm that later.
That guy's one. Phil, if you're around, give us a ring. There's a prize coming your way, homeboy.
Any more advertising or messages
Here's the thing, Tone.
that
Here's
we'd
the
like to
thing.
do? Yeah.
The kids like booze, you know what I mean? When I say kids, I mean the young adults,
Yeah,
18 and
sure,
over.
yeah.
No, don't hold me off here. She'll be right. Let's keep going, shall we? Now, they've done another study, Tone, and guess what? Guess what? Energy drinks and your ones with caffeine in them and such, named brandless, of course, and booze aren't that good for you.
You joke.
It is the weirdest thing.
Oh, that's bad news for so many people around here.
It's the weirdest thing. But the problem with these things, Tone, is that every time they release a study, it sounds like the world's greatest ad for the drinks that they're trying to get rid of.
Very true.
Well, have a listen to this. University students who mix energy drinks with alcohol are twice as likely to end up in dangerous social situations. Which is bad, but here's the real kicker, Tone.
Yeah.
Those who mixed alcohol with energy drinks also drank significantly more in a typical session and got drunk twice a week.
Oh, happy days.
But,
Never been a better time to do that.
We spoke to one of the students, Tone.
Did you really?
Yeah, who drinks the energy drinks with the alcohol, and he said, I'm Richard, and when I'm having a vodka and a red moo-moo drink, I get super silly. Last time, the Rogue Traders and I got so crazy. The pictures are on my MySpace. You like Matt Corby?
He doesn't like Matt Colby.
Show business news. I see Katie Holmes was let out over the weekend.
Oh, that's nice.
She was able to take part in a marathon.
Yeah, whenever you see Katie Holmes by herself, the photograph is always of her running moments before the Scientology minders get hold of her.
Well, look at this. It's the New York City Marathon. Holmes crossed the finish line in Manhattan Central Park in 5 hours, 29 minutes and 58 seconds.
That's ages.
Well, she came in 98th,
Okay.
but it says positions 90 to 97 and 99 to 110 were filled by Scientology minders, so she was in a ruck there.
Not a bad record.
When asked how she felt after the race, Holmes replied, "The Thetans will triumph and Tom is definitely not gay," as she usually does. Great listeners calling in, people saying, what's going to happen next for the Get This team? Who's going to fill the slot? Who's going to do this shift? Now, I've put
Gangajang, surely.
Gangajang. Maybe Goanna Band could come in as well.
Be wonderful.
But, I'm trying to think of someone who might be appropriate. And I bumped into a bloke last night who does voiceovers on Media Watch.
Oh.
Reads out the letters.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe he could do a shift here. And I said, would that be a problem?
My word, it would have been a problem. It just couldn't happen.
There you go. Here's what the Nissan Navara sounds like. Here's other lesser brand utes.
Oh, here they go. Get off me toes, ducks.
All right. Yeah, let them finish.
All right, we know you're covered in a thin layer of oil. Water won't penetrate you. Good.
All right, that's the ducks out of the way.
I do picture ducks when we're doing that. I should let the listeners know I do look at the floor. I imagine little ducks going on there. They wag the little ducky tail.
Yeah, I have to say, Ed, it's been a long time since we had, apart from obviously our wonderful mentions of the Nissan Navara, our fine sponsor, we don't really do a lot of live ad reads.
This is
on
the
this
problem,
show. Yes.
Tone. And it's Melbourne Cup Day today, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's thinking spring fashion.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
over that, Tone.
Are you?
I'm already thinking summer. Well, I'm not thinking summer.
Uh-oh.
Richard Marsland's just
Uh-oh.
getting handed a script he's never seen before.
He is.
As we now cross to Richard Marsland and his tips for the summer.
Thanks, Ed. Well, today's busy singles all tell me one thing. I don't have time to dress myself, so why not let me, Richard Marsland, come and tuck you into some of my summer fashion creations. You can slip into the buns of Navajo, a tasteful pair of chaps and headdress made of Big Lebowski Laserdiscs. Or for a day at the beach, why not try Rally Round the Flag, which features the skimpiest cotton thong imaginable with a light for attracting attention. And for that special occasion, raise your game with I Want to Cover Rex Hunt in Lotion, a tub of lotion and a couple of warm Marsland hands to apply it. Back to you, Ed or Tony.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Rich.
Not a single stumble.
A lot of spittle, though.
He'd never seen that before. And how you can read Ed Cavali's handwriting is beyond me.
He's scrubbed out the word lotion and replaced it with coleslaw at one stage.
Well, hang on.
There's also
Workshopping something.
Sorry, no, lube was crossed out for
All
lotion.
right.
I
Okay,
apologise.
we don't have much time. Let's climb Talkback Mountain. So all we've got time for, because we are going to be interrupted today at any moment by a horse race, the Melbourne Cup, I think they call it.
Absolutely.
So we thought, why not talk interruptions? Because that's what's going to happen. In the middle of talking to the callers, we will suddenly be ripped off air for a bit of... Oh, how does that music go? All right. I had the music in my head. You know, when you're a kid, every single movie on the TV had this playing on it.
Yeah, that's right,
Doesn't matter when anyone switched on a telly, pre-1975, that's what they were watching.
How would you have felt if you were one of the blokes that always got cast as one of the Indians? Who am I playing? Chief what? Chief gets shot in the face again?
Again.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, no, I still got my loincloth.
That's an interruption.
Bang, there you go.
An interruption to your acting career. Have you had an interruption, Ed
Well,
Cavalier?
not me, but the emails have come in, Tone. Here we
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Andre
yeah.
Kilstein writes,
Yeah.
Stop these drunks from New Zealand cutting into Rob Thomas's fine work. Sure, they're falling over bins, but let them do it in their own time.
Okay, we do like to interrupt the music occasionally on the show.
Just improve it a tad.
That goes down well. All right, that's an interruption. I remember I was at the movies. I was interrupted once. Was in America, in New York, watching that rather hammy performance by Al Pacino as the devil. What's that one? The Devil's Advocate.
Yeah.
I was watching that. There was only three of us in the cinema. Three of us. And suddenly we were interrupted by the sound of a massive fan and the overwhelming stench of popcorn. Going, what's this about? And we looked around, and what they do in American cinemas is, when the movie starts, they open the back door very surreptitiously, and a couple of staff members come up with a massive fan that has a bucket of popcorn underneath it that blows the smell of hot popcorn into the cinema.
So you suddenly feel like popcorn.
Oh, suddenly I have to go and buy some popcorn. Now, that's fine when there's 400 people in there. They've got the balance right. But when there's 3 people in there, it's basically a mustard gas attack.
But, Tone, I don't know if they do it for all of you, but, you know, in America, people are quite portly for the most part. And
They certainly are.
And they've seen you and the missus walk in and gone, these need fattening up. Get the popcorn going.
Bring in the spruce goose.
All right, that's a big interruption.
How many minutes is that?
It's 3.
We can have one more.
One more, Rich.
Okay,
Richard.
school camp got interrupted once because we were being real terrors of
Drop
little
bears.
kids. In year 5, year 6, what we did is we snuck up on the teacher who was sleeping in his room and we threw a broom on him while he was sleeping.
That'll learn him.
And that woke him up in not a pleasant way, so we had to all go on the bus the next morning and go home because we had pushed him to the limit. He was so annoyed with us. So
Why'd you go a broom?
It was just because it was all we had, and it was kind of, a broom in the face. That's unpleasant. It's confronting.
You're on detention just for telling that story.
Okie dokie. All right. G'day, Helen.
Oh, hi.
What happened?
Well, I was in the 21st a couple of weeks ago, and anyway, they had the speeches, and it was sort of getting on towards the end of the night, but the music was still going. And anyway, at the bar, there's sort of a bit of a commotion, and a girl had actually got her leg stuck in one of those air vents at the bottom, and she was knee deep in this thing. And anyway, so they had to get the CFA out, the SES, the police, ambulance, like everybody was there. And the manager of the place, needless to say, was a bit stressed because I think there was a wedding on there the night afterwards.
And she was going to have to still be there.
Well, I don't know.
wasn't
They'll
on the
probably
guest
have to
list.
cut her out or something.
Wow.
But
And was
the
the-
music got switched off and everything.
Did the air vent just sort of alluringly hike the skirt up, Marilyn Monroe style?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Provide entertainment during the rescue?
You know, Helen, what an attention seeker. You know what I mean?
Obviously.
Some people just can't let others.
Sort of like obviously wanting to take photos but didn't want to be rude about it.
Yeah. Put that shoe down, Mr. Marsland, and step away from the lady.
Thank you, Helen. We'll let you go put some bets on. Lovely to talk to you. G'day, Neil. How are you, mate?
Mate, mine's just basically an ongoing one. I listen to you boys religiously.
Thank you.
Every day.
Thanks, mate.
And basically everyone at work seems to wait till the exact minute as soon as it hits 2 o'clock to come and ask me questions.
See, that's the problem with being a surgeon, Neil. People are always up in your grill asking
Exactly.
for
I'm in the middle of
stuff.
an operation. Some bloke's dying on the table.
Well,
it's just ridiculous.
All
What can
right.
you do? Thank you, Neil.
Sorry to interrupt,
you very
Neil.
much, Roy.
How many seconds do we have to fill, Mr. Marsland?
About 10.
10 seconds. What have you got to fill that gap? Anything at all?
How about this?
Oh, ducks.
Not the ducks.
No, don't have any bread.
Look who's here, our original co-host, Peter Rowsthorn.
Oh, pleasure to be back.
Yes.
And what an amazing day to come in.
Yeah, sure.
No one's listening at all, I don't think. I wouldn't imagine. I'm going to say cock.
Oh, not for the first time.
A doodle-doo.
Lose
cover.
For once, we are going to lose the jazz flute player.
Why?
And bring up the sound of the Melbourne Cup because we have to cross to it as soon as it starts.
Well, why'd I come in?
Look at that. Peter, what's going on up there? We know nothing about
Peter,
horse
you're here to
racing.
call the race, man.
Yeah, okay. Well,
we
the
didn't-
horses are moving into the barriers now, everybody. It's a beautiful day here at the track at Flemington.
Yeah.
The horses have all got tails and ears, and all of them have got legs, which is a great start.
And there's... Which one is that?
That is a man who's strapped to the front of a horse. No, he's getting off the front of the horse. He's climbing into the stable area. He's not going to go far in there.
Hang
Once
on,
those gates open, he'll stay there. I know that for a fact.
Is that a horse? Oh, that's Tara Moss. I'm sorry.
That's not Sarah Moss riding. They're all very hungry jockeys. They haven't eaten for months, a lot of those men, as they're in the barriers now. That's a horse.
Yeah.
Moving into barrier number, I don't know. can't
Now,
see.
Peter, none of us have laid any money down. We don't know anything about the game.
You
what
have, though, haven't you?
What have
Yeah,
you done?
between myself and my children, we've got the entire field covered. So I'm feeling very confident.
Very good news, Pete.
Really, there's only 5 horses that can't get a win or a place.
Oh, well, I hope they come 1 to 5. I really do.
Well, they're the ones that means I'll lose all my money.
Exactly.
Why are you saying that to me?
Say
Way
cock
back
on my radio show, and this is what happens, Pete. I'll turn on you.
I said a doodle-doo not long after.
Whoops, and I didn't.
You know.
Hang on.
Who cares?
Those
We're
Bring it
listening.
up now.
tiny gentlemen are assuming the
They're in the barriers, everybody.
One
And
more.
just out of interest, Peter, which horse are you backing here?
I've got Zipping, which is number 9.
Zipping.
Zipping, and also number 11, 7,
Oh.
5.
Let's cross the
17.
Flemington.
Here it comes.
Moon laser sharp, scenic shot easing in. Efficient has won the derby.
And Peter Rowsthorn, you're back live with Get This on Triple M around the nation. Peter, I don't even think the horse you mentioned was in the race. I didn't.
Yeah, well, that's one of the 5 I didn't choose. So I'm a little bit disappointed right now.
What about your kids, though? Where do they come in?
They didn't even choose it. So
Is that
what a
right?
family of losers we are.
Wow.
We had 2nd and 3rd, though. So
Well,
chin up, everyone.
It's
Chin up,
hardly the
everyone.
winner, though, is it?
No, it's hardly winner. No, it certainly won't pay like that either.
No.
Okay, so what are they eating tonight? Just
I don't care.
bread and tap water.
They're eating their discarded tab tickets.
That's what they're eating.
Can we help?
Oh,
I
gee.
mean, you know, some people, I guess, real aficionados of obscure TV shows would know Peter from the Kath and Kim, the Thank God You're Here. But
cares?
mainstream
Who cares?
viewers, can we help?
What time's it going out at the moment, Peter
Yeah,
Rowsthorn?
6:30 Nash. That's 6:30 National ABC.
Sats? 6:30 Sats?
No Frides.
6:30 Fry.
What about
Right.
ABC 2?
ABC 2 as well. 5:30 AM.
5:30
Or
a.m.
possibly
Nash.
6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Nash.
Nash Didge, that is.
That's Nash Didge.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Okay, look,
ABC2 Didge.
The listeners are Look, people, you can hear them all
Yeah.
around the nation going, get rid of that horse racing nonsense. They're leaning forward to hear the figures. What are the figures?
Well, really, since we've really given a pummeling on Get This,
Yep.
the figures have remained the same.
Have they?
Yeah, they really haven't.
Well, they
moved
haven't
at all.
gone down.
That's exactly right, Tony.
They've stabilised.
That's all we ask for. It can we help?
Do you mind if we work
stabilise?
Do you mind if we work backwards?
Yep. Taz, no records.
No records.
No records of Tasmanian ratings at all. Don't come into our account.
All right, Rich.
Nor do Reed.
Okay, so we're on zero Taz,
Reed.
zero Reed. So far we're equal with Thalasar Stories of the Sea on SBS.
Yes.
Now here's the big guns. Talk me through the Nash
figures,
Nash
please.
figures. Well, who knows where we make up our national figures. I presume Sydney and Melbourne dominate areas.
Yeah.
And given I'm from Melbourne, that doesn't have any effect either.
No, nothing.
Seems
No
like
love there.
Sydney seem the most keen.
Okay.
Now, but you're dancing around the real issues. Let's
Yeah.
talk figures. What are we looking at? Nash.
Well, Nash, just from the States alone, look, obviously no Taz and no Reach.
Yeah.
We're looking at about 490,000.
490? That's close to $500,000.
Close to $500,000. It's beyond the nation.
Oh,
Beyond the
that's
nation.
kicking some butt at the ABC, I would have thought. I mean, how does that compare to the cook and the chef?
Well, let me tell you, it's not quite as big as the Cook and Chef figures. Because
Really?
that's Thursday. They've got the big night. Thursday, 6:30 is a massive night.
And you got to keep in mind it's a cook, and then you go, that would be enough. But no, there's a chef
There's a
as
chef
well.
as well. Yeah, they're doubling up, which is clearly unfair.
Yeah.
But in terms of where we are, 6:30 Fridays, we are as big as Gardening Australia was.
with Kundo.
With Cumber.
You're the next Peter Cundall, Peter Rowsthorn.
That's what I'm looking at, yeah.
Peter, I remember after you've been doing this show for a year, we got you in and we said, now, how helpful have you been this year? What was your biggest achievement? Just a long pause, if I remember, a lot of shuffling of papers. There was some attempt to reunite some people who had accidentally met about 6 hours earlier at the airport anyway. I can't...
Yeah.
You know what?
Luckily, the crew was there.
2007, though, I know that everything's been fine-tuned and it's all new at Can We Help? What's your biggest achievement this year?
The biggest achievement is actually sacking another 3 members only 2 weeks ago.
Oh, get this style.
The original panel just got the boot.
Well,
what were they told?
Well, I know 3 blokes that need a job.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's a natural fit. It's a beautiful fit for mine.
Can I tell you something?
What?
Richard tests through the roof reach.
Yeah, he's big on
And
that.
Does he?
Very big with islands too.
Oh,
True.
Surrounding islands.
You get some figures out of Taz, you reckon?
Yep.
Territories and atolls.
Yes.
He's got them locked down.
Okay, so why did they go? What happened there?
I don't know. I
Need
think
to
the
play more
producers-
music in the afternoon?
They had to squeeze in another 4 songs.
Diverting costs and resources to another program.
They just refused to play music. I said, that's just not on. Off you go. Off you go, Verity James. Grant Stone, you napper as well. Off you go.
Maybe the answer is...
There's only 4 cast members. And they've sacked 3 of them.
Wow, but what about...
It's a big call.
The question was, what's your biggest achievement? Maybe that will explain it.
You know what it is?
What?
The biggest achievement is doubling our ratings figures
Bang.
and figuring to ourselves, it's not working. Get rid of the team. It's the same theory as Get This. It works, get rid of it. We're following the Austereo plan, and it seems to, hopefully it'll work next year.
Can we help?
We'll soon find out.
All right, can we not? It's good to get those figures out of the way. You keep staring at your race tickets
Yeah, I'm just
like,
so
like
disappointed.
somehow time might reverse and you
go.
may still win the
And
Melbourne Cup.
Riley! No.
Can we help?
Yes.
What do we need help? Here's something. Here's an issue from the streets of the suburbs. How do you feel about this, Peter?
Yep.
Putting rubbish into somebody else's wheelie bin
Oh, I love doing that.
when it's out on the nature strip,
Yeah, I'll do that.
waiting for the thing to come. I don't mean after
No, I think
the
before.
garbos have been and emptied it, and it's emptied and it's pristine, it's ready.
No, I wouldn't do that. That's nasty.
What if you're walking up the street and you've got, dog turds in a bag
Yeah.
for legitimate reasons?
Yeah,
not,
sure.
I know.
Not
I
for
Not that you
strange.
collect them. I
No.
think, yeah.
I wasn't envisaging some bizarre Santa Claus ritual that you did, Tony.
I get the feeling you were. But, and it's bin day,
Yeah.
and just going over and dropping it in what will be collected in 2 hours. Now, I have a neighbour who doesn't like that. He's chasing
Why?
me out the street, abusing me for that.
Why do you let him see you do it?
Well, I didn't, but the
Yeah,
dog...
why do you ring the doorbell and show it to him?
The dog was barking. Somebody had a grape inside his house. The dog wasn't going to leave till he had it. Or she, pardon. Pardon me. There's no crying game business going on with my dog.
Gee whiz.
Thinking of the old dog. That's what I was doing. Pardon me. But, so the etiquette there is, what's your view?
Get it off the street, put it in the bin. Doesn't matter whose bin it is, put it in.
There you go.
Yeah, see, and I'll do that with my household rubbish as well, because I do have an overflowing problem.
All right.
Occasionally.
What do the neighbours say about that, though?
They don't know.
They don't know.
But I do have the courtesy of checking everyone's bins to see who's got the lowest amount. And I put it in the lowest bin. I might have to go 4 or 5 bins up the road. I don't hold back. I go for a walk.
Well, I saw you in an airport with a bag of rubbish.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll go
Heading to
international.
Adelaide. I thought.
Yeah, I'll put it in my overhead locker and go to a different state. You
Just
try
through bin.
and put a plastic bag full of rubbish through an X-ray machine. They have to go through my bags so many times.
I'll bet.
As they pull out
Are these
stuff.
tins yours, sir?
Yes, they are. Well, sorry, they're just for domestic use. That's all right. You can go through.
All right, I feel help somehow.
That was somehow.
I feel.
Oh, it is help. It's
Yeah,
creepy
because
help.
someone else does what I do. But Ed, you've got a much more serious question to
I think
tackle.
so. Look, you know how I'm a young single man.
Babes.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Pete.
Babes. To do with babes.
A little
Isn't
bit.
it? Yeah, okay. I know.
Richard loves babe.
He loves babe.
No, it's something to do with babes.
He's got his babe face on.
Yeah.
The question is,
Man.
young single man, do I ever want to kind of go the kids, Richard Marsland settling down.
Yeah.
He's
Are
going to
you?
have some kids fairly soon.
Is he?
I don't know. I just like to say that
That's good,
on a
though.
national show. Hopefully his mum's listening. And so when I need matters of kids, I turn to our producer, Nikki Hamilton.
Yes,
How
right.
are you?
It's beautiful.
Hello.
And have a listen to, if this isn't a story to sway you to get into the kid action,
Yeah.
I don't know what is. Nikki, what happened to you this morning?
Well, I was just saying, when Atticus is in the car and Reese is driving and he's getting a
Atticus
bit...
is your son,
My son,
Reese is
yes,
your
he's
husband.
2.
Yeah, most of the time,
Reese.
that's how it works, yes.
Okay, no.
Yes. Husband Reese driving, and if Addie gets a bit whingy, Reese will say, be quiet, or do you want a backhander?
Yeah, which is funny. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, but what's funny is that Addie will then go, backhander, I want a backhander.
See, now, I was raised on backhanders and mixed nuts, and I turned out just fine.
Yeah, that's good.
This is the kind of stuff. So, Pete, what do you reckon? Is it all backhanders and car rides?
You've
having
got
kids?
4 kids,
Yeah,
Peter.
pretty much. The backs of my hand are getting quite, calloused from just constant whacking, because they hurt. The skull is quite hard.
Is it?
Unless they're babies, it's quite soft.
There you go.
But you don't backhand babies. It's
No.
good front hand. with
Is it
babies.
really?
Yeah.
Is it hard
Or
to...
ear twistings.
Can you remain a figure of authority to your children, Peter, when they're seeing you on Kath and Kim running about in a netball dress? Does that undermine?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it doesn't do a lot. It doesn't help me a lot. So I have to really yell loud on special occasions.
And
Like the other day in the car, I went completely feral. I
Did
lost
you?
completely.
What was the topic? What sent you over the edge? They were doing Luna Park and getting it wrong?
No. Well, it does annoy me because, we've all heard it enough to know it.
I've
by
never
now.
seen it.
Haven't you?
No.
Never.
Oh,
So
it's
you are
a
the only
classic.
person. It's probably one of the greatest bits of stand-up comedy ever unloaded by anyone in this country.
That's right. That's why I've done it for 25 years. But anyway.
Yeah. So what sent you over the edge?
Well, I can't. It was my son, and I was cross. And I got into that where you go up a notch, where there's yelling. Like, sit down. Can you sit down? Just put the PSP down, Ed. Put it down, man. I need you to look at me and put it down. Thank you. Okay, you've been on for 4 hours. Stop. Okay, that's one level. That's just
Okay.
pretty firm.
Yeah, gotcha.
And you get some stuff through on that
Fair
level.
enough, yeah, you're cutting
but
through.
there's sometimes when you go, I'm just going to release the valve here.
Oh,
Because
What
what
do you
I'm
give 'em?
feeling.
What do you give 'em?
Can we hear a bit of
I
that?
sort of scream a bit.
Come on, go on, give it some.
Let's hear it.
I've had enough! Okay? Just stay where you are! I've had enough! All right? Okay?
And we're talking to the host of Can We Help on the ABC this
Yeah,
afternoon.
like it's not pleasant. And in the car, it's quite loud.
Cavernous.
And my daughter will put her hands over her ears and goes, "Oh, don't yell, Dad." And I go, "It's all right." No, then I apologise about an hour later. So I didn't have to get that mad. It was just crazy talk.
Well, Richard, we don't have time to find
Time
out
cop.
what kind of help you need.
Why? Why can't I help Richard?
Because I've got to be a time cop.
He's got to be time cop. He loves being time cop.
G'day, Robert. How are you?
How's it going, fellas?
Excellent. Can we help?
I'm not sure if you can because my girlfriend has a major problem with me listening to you fellas.
No.
Why?
What's the problem?
I'm constantly quoting you guys. Like, she says we've got to, do our tax return, and I turn around and say, how come?
Oh, yes,
Yeah, that's
okay.
all right. That's okay. I've got no problem with that. What about is it when it gets fruity? Is that you still doing it then?
Pretty much whenever we get into a fight, I just scream assault.
Assault,
wow,
okay. Yeah, well, obviously she's aware that this won't be a problem after 3 weeks from now.
Yes, I know, and she's extremely happy.
Yeah, she's down the front with a placard.
Hey, I took the day off work yesterday to go down to the rally in Melbourne.
Yeah,
and,
was she impressed by that?
Not really, because my boss really got mad, and I'm not going to say any more.
All right, fantastic.
Well done. Okay, well, you'll get a job. All right, time to sign off. Thanks, Peter, for sitting in for the whole hour.
Been a pleasure, my friends. Thank you so much for all your help through the years.
Are you saying we've only got 10 seconds?
About that time.
What's our key phrase, Rich?
Oh, ducks.
Dear.
Disappointing.
Get this at the new time of 2 o'clock.
Or in Adelaide, 3 o'clock.
On the Triple M Network.